The journey to R&B stardom is often very tough, with many stars facing hardships. From unexpected evictions to devastating career setbacks, these R&B artists have seen it all. Join us as we explore the stories of these R&B stars who went homeless.
And then I had a long break in between because of drugs and alcohol. And
Charlie Wilson. Charlie Wilson, recognized for his unique and strong vocals as the frontman of the Gap Band, stands as one of the most impactful personalities in R&B music. Tracks such as Outstanding and You Dropped the Bomb on Me from the early 1980s turned him into a household name. Wilson, together with his brothers Ronnie and Robert, played a significant role in defining the sound of R&B during that time, securing the Gap Band's position in music history. Nonetheless, in spite of his achievements and the recognition he gained, Wilson's narrative took a tragic twist, resulting in some of the hardest periods of his life, such as experiencing homelessness and battling addiction. Wilson achieved fame alongside the Gap Band's triumphs during the 1980s. Their distinct fusion of funk, R&B, and soul generated chart-topping songs, and the band soon emerged as one of the most esteemed names in the industry. Nonetheless, circumstances started to shift for Wilson and the band in 1986, when they requested to revisit their publishing agreement with their manager. Wilson states that the manager declined, subsequently blackballing the group and rendering it futile for them to secure employment. This career challenge, along with increasing personal issues, started to affect Wilson's life adversely. The pressures of the music industry, combined with Wilson's increasing battles with substance abuse, resulted in his eventual collapse. In the early 1990s, he developed an addiction to cocaine and alcohol, and this lifestyle severely impacted him both physically and mentally. From 1993 to 1995, Wilson ended up residing on the streets of Hollywood, Los Angeles. He was without a home, resting in alleys, with only a brick as a pillow and cardboard as a mattress. His dependency had taken everything from him, and he was hardly recognizable, weighing just 130 pounds. While on the streets, Wilson attempted to stay out of the public's view, embarrassed by his circumstances. He would remain hidden during the day, only coming out at night. However, the homeless individuals aware of his former notoriety took care of him, providing him with food and shelter. Ultimately, it was a visit from his cousin, who had been a substance addict in the past, that enabled Wilson to transform his life. She urged him to enter a rehabilitation facility where he underwent 28 days of detoxification from substances and alcohol. Wilson's period in rehabilitation signified the start of his recovery journey. Even though he initially battled with addiction, the pivotal moment occurred when a social worker inquired about his plans after leaving the program. This inquiry shattered him, and he understood that he had nothing to return to. At that point, Wilson started collecting the necessary tools to reconstruct his life. The social worker who assisted him would eventually become his spouse, Mahan Wilson, and she became his source of support during his recovery. Wilson's journey to healing was challenging, yet with his wife's support, he slowly conquered his dependencies. Nonetheless, he encountered another obstacle. The music industry had progressed, and numerous record labels were reluctant to collaborate with him. Thanks to the assistance of his friends, such as R. Kelly and Snoop Dogg, Wilson managed to achieve a successful return. In 2001, he launched a new album, and in 2005, his successful track, Charlie, Last Name Wilson, crafted and produced by R. Kelly, achieved gold status, signaling a victorious comeback to fame. Currently, Charlie Wilson continues to create music and experience success. His album Uncle Charlie premiered at number 2 on the Billboard Top 200, and his popular track, There Goes My Baby, remained for 10 weeks at the peak of the Billboard R&B Adult Contemporary chart. Wilson has not only triumphed over the struggles of addiction and homelessness, but has also continued to motivate others with his tale of resilience and redemption. But this is nothing compared to what the Prince of Motown went through.
It's haven for me, when I come off the road, It's very quiet up there on my farm. It's away from everybody.
Marvin Gaye.
At Eastern Michigan, and they're a pretty tough bunch of guys up there. And,
Marvin Gaye, popularly referred to as the Prince of Motown, made a lasting impact on music through his soulful singing and enduring tunes. He was not just a strong vocalist, but also a songwriter and producer, and his impact is still recognized years after his untimely passing. Gaye's path to fame and wealth was characterized by talent and allure, but it also featured shadows of personal challenges and financial downfall. His tale is a blend of skill, victory, and sorrow, all connected to the music he dedicated himself to. Marvin Gaye launched his career in the 1960s at Motown Records, starting as a session musician and contributing behind the scenes to create the sound of chart-topping tracks for other performers. This first experience provided him with a profound comprehension of music, and he swiftly moved from being a supporting musician to emerging as a solo artist in the limelight. Using his smooth and adaptable voice, Gaye produced a series of hit songs that would turn into classics, such as Ain't That Peculiar, How Sweet It Is, To Be Loved by You, and I Heard It Through the Grapevine. These successes turned him into a household name and granted him the title of the Prince of Motown. By the early 1970s, Marvin Gaye's career attained new levels of success. In 1972, he wrote the music for the movie Trouble Man, expressing his personal feelings of inner turmoil and fragility through its lyrics. In 1973, he launched Let's Get It On, an album that highlighted his sensual and profoundly emotional nature, solidifying his status as a musical legend. Yet, underneath his achievements, Gaye faced personal challenges that would soon start to impact his life and finances. In 1976, Marvin Gaye encountered major financial issues. A judge mandated that he pay $600,000 in spousal support to his former wife, Anna Gordy Gaye, following the dissolution of their marriage. To settle this debt, Gaye was required to relinquish a significant share of his royalties, which created pressure on his earnings. This financial setback was just the start of his difficulties. Gaye had cultivated an escalating dependency on cocaine, which increased his mental issues and increasingly depleted his finances. To complicate things further, he also neglected his tax payments, resulting in substantial debts to the IRS. Faced with financial strains and legal troubles mounting, Marvin Gaye chose to make the tough choice to depart from the United States. He went into exile, initially in England and subsequently in Belgium. There, far from his native land and battling his inner challenges, he crafted the song Sexual Healing, which signified his return and turned into a global success. Sexual Healing demonstrated that, despite the challenges and difficulties, Gaye possessed an extraordinary talent for music. The song's achievement momentarily rescued him from financial disaster and offered him a glimpse of salvation. Nonetheless, Gaye's difficulties were far from resolved. His debts kept accumulating, and by the time he passed away, he was almost $10 million in debt. In 1984, his life met a sorrowful conclusion when an intense dispute with his father escalated into violence. During the conflict, Gaye was tragically fired by his father, ending both his life and career in a heartbreaking manner. But this is not all. The next person's story will leave you in tears.
This is a song about a beautiful little girl. A girl I love.
Kim,
I came to a place where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had lost everything.
the Grammy-nominated R&B musician, exemplifies resilience and redemption. Recognized for his velvety voice and heartfelt melodies, Kim emerged as a symbol of hope for fans globally, particularly for those aware of his challenging history. However, prior to his achievements, he needed to endure an incredible level of adversity. Born in Nashville and brought up in Detroit, Kim was raised in a home filled with challenges. His mother battled with alcohol, and his father, whom he referred to as a tyrant, made him feel confined and alone. In his youth, Kem frequently experienced feelings of being an outsider, a growing sense of isolation and insignificance that intensified with age. By his teenage years, Kem had resorted to alcohol, and shortly after, substances came into play, both of which he utilized to dull the emotional suffering he couldn't avoid. This spiral took him down a bleak path that would almost engulf him. At merely 19, Kem was without a home and battling addiction. Residing on the streets of Detroit, he spent years moving between shelters and friends' sofas, perpetually seeking his next high. In his autobiography, Share My Life, he characterized this phase of his life as a story drenched in the blues. He was disoriented, both in body and mind, lacking a definitive path or goal. His sole drive was to survive, and his dependency turned into the focal point of his existence. Yet amid his challenges, Kem discovered something that would eventually rescue him: music. Even in his most difficult times, he sensed a profound bond with music, providing him a sense of meaning he had never felt before. He started composing songs, transforming his suffering and history into lyrics that conveyed his path. Music turned into his therapy, his refuge, and in the end, his salvation. In his late 20s, Kem chose to make a transformative decision to become sober. The journey was not simple, yet with perseverance and belief, he dedicated himself to healing and transformed his life. While maintaining his sobriety, he dedicated himself to enhancing his musical skills. Beginning anew, Kem independently wrote and recorded music, frequently financing his projects by doing odd jobs and playing at smaller venues. Gradually, his music started to attract notice. In 2001, he launched his debut album, Chemistry, which was positively received and signified the beginning of his career. Shortly thereafter, he joined Motown Records, an iconic label that paved the way for him in the music scene. His sophomore album, Album 2, featured hits such as I Can't Stop Loving You, and established him as a significant presence in R&B. Kem's soothing voice, paired with sincere lyrics about love, redemption, and strength, connected with fans who found his music to be both lovely and uplifting. As Kem gained fame, he discovered financial security for the first time ever. Despite enduring years of hardship and addiction, he became a thriving artist who refused to be defined by his history. His narrative served as a source of motivation for supporters and individuals in recovery, demonstrating that rebuilding is achievable even after reaching rock bottom. Currently, Kem's net worth is relatively small when stacked against numerous mainstream artists, yet his wealth encompasses more than just finances. He has reached a state of inner tranquility and satisfaction that few attain, utilizing his experiences to assist others.
I didn't come from poverty. Everything was given to me. You know what I mean? My parents wanted me to.
Lisa Lopes. Lisa, Left Eye.
No. I can say this. Everything's not going the way we so-called quote-unquote would want it to be or how it should be.
Lopes, the passionate rapper from the legendary girl group TLC, made a lasting impact on music through her striking style, distinctive character, and remarkable talent. As a member of TLC, alongside Tian T-Boz Watkins and Rosanda Chili Thomas, Lisa contributed to crafting a sound that defined the 1990s era. With tracks such as Waterfalls, Creep, and No Scrubs, TLC conquered the charts, fusing R&B, pop, and hip-hop in a manner that connected with millions. However, in spite of their fame and chart-topping achievements, Lisa and her band faced financial difficulties owing to dubious contracts and practices by the record label. TLC achieved their major success with the release of their 1994 album, Crazy Sexy Cool. The album achieved tremendous success, with sales exceeding 10 million copies, establishing TLC as one of the most prominent girl groups ever. They received numerous accolades, and it appeared that Lisa and her fellow band members were at the peak of their success. However, beneath the shiny exterior, reality was far from ideal. Rather than making the millions they expected, Lisa, T-Boz, and Chili ended up penniless, ensnared in one of the worst financial agreements in the music industry. In a 2007 documentary, Lisa disclosed the extent of the unfairness in their contract. She clarified that although Crazy Sexy Cool sold millions of copies, each member ended up receiving roughly $300,000. Although that figure may appear substantial, it was surprisingly minimal given the album's tremendous success. Their agreement provided them with a small percentage from each album sold, roughly 7 points, equating to 56 cents per album. Due to their record label reclaiming millions invested in recording and marketing, TLC received only a minor share of the earnings. The requirements of the label caused them to face financial difficulties, even during their peak success. Compounding her difficulties, Lisa frequently faced personal challenges that additionally impacted her financial situation. In a notorious event, she ignited her boyfriend's mansion following a passionate dispute, resulting in legal troubles and necessitating her to compensate for damages. These challenges, alongside TLC's financial condition, hindered Lisa from attaining the financial stability she rightfully deserved, even with her notoriety. Just when she was attempting to restore, disaster occurred. Lisa began to investigate her uniqueness and was developing a personal project, aspiring to define herself outside of TLC and achieve some economic freedom. She was likewise reconnecting with her spiritual side and had journeyed to Honduras for a retreat. Regrettably, during her time in Honduras in 2002, Lisa tragically lost her life in a car crash. At just 30 years old, her premature passing created a void in the music industry and in the hearts of her admirers. You'll never believe which other R&B star ended up broke and on the verge of homelessness, only to be saved by death.
The success of the album, so they're thinking that you're on top of the world, and you know, when you're quiet like that, no one knows, so that's why we're telling it. We're not telling it to get anybody in trouble or to...
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, referred to as the King of Pop, was among the most significant and legendary performers in history. With his extraordinary skill and innovative music, he revolutionized the music industry, crafting songs, videos, and performances that are honored globally. Nonetheless, in spite of his immense fortune and celebrity status, Michael Jackson encountered serious financial difficulties, overspending greatly and eventually accumulating a significant amount of debt. Jackson's journey to stardom started in the 1960s when he was a young boy, performing alongside his siblings in the Jackson 5. As the group's youngest member, Michael's charm and voice swiftly impressed audiences. By the 1970s, he had gained recognition as a musical genius. Ultimately, Jackson embarked on his solo journey and captivated the globe with a collection of albums that would turn into some of the top-selling records ever. The launch of Thriller in 1982 signified the high point of Jackson's career, featuring chart-topping tracks such as Billie Jean, Beat It, and the title song Thriller. The album achieved sales surpassing 66 million copies globally, making it the highest-selling album in music history. Jackson's celebrity soared, making him an international sensation as he earned enormous amounts from album sales, tours, and sponsorships. At his peak, he earned around $100 million each year, a figure nearly inconceivable back then. Despite his vast fortune, Jackson was recognized for his lavish lifestyle and spending patterns, especially on his dream property, Neverland Ranch. Acquired in the late 1980s, the expansive estate in California was turned into a wonderland, featuring an amusement park, a zoo, and rare animals. Jackson invested millions into Neverland, transforming it into his paradise. However, the expense of managing the estate was significant, and over time, it turned into a financial strain. Besides Neverland, Jackson had a strong interest in art collection, which also represented a significant cost. He is said to have invested approximately $65 million in different art projects, considerably depleting his funds. Michael's expenditures extended past real estate and art. He also took pleasure in gathering rare and exotic items, ranging from antiques to animals. As time went on, these extravagant expenditures accumulated, and even Jackson's remarkable earnings couldn't meet the expenses. At the time of his passing in 2009, Michael Jackson had amassed roughly $400 million in debt. He was indebted to many creditors, such as banks and private lenders, since his lavish lifestyle and decreasing income resulted in financial ruin. He leveraged his assets and found it challenging to uphold his extravagant lifestyle while his funds were decreasing. The financial pressure was so severe that he needed to borrow money merely to maintain his lifestyle and settle his obligations. George Clinton. George Clinton, a trailblazer of funk music and a key figure in American music history, made an indelible impact on the industry. Renowned for his eccentric, psychedelic style and genre mixing music, Clinton crafted the essence of funk, soul, and rock, with his influence impacting numerous artists over the years. Nonetheless, in spite of his musical successes, he encountered significant financial difficulties, primarily because of problems with his record label, increasing legal disputes, and lost royalties. Clinton's rise to prominence started in the 1950s, when he established a doo-wop ensemble known as the Parliaments. Although this group had some accomplishments, it was not until the 1970s, when Clinton renamed the group Parliament Funkadelic, that he discovered his true passion. Parliament Funkadelic, commonly referred to as P-Funk, brought forth a fresh genre of music that merged aspects of funk, rock, and R&B with vibrant, forward-looking stage shows. Clinton gained recognition for his extravagant outfits, psychedelic imagery, and grandiose stage presence. With Clinton at the helm, Parliament Funkadelic created a collection of revolutionary albums such as Mothership Connection, One Nation Under a Groove, and Funkadelic, verse The Placebo Syndrome. These albums became vital for anyone fascinated by funk or rock, solidifying Clinton's status as an icon. With his innovative music and quirky character, he developed a style that was both distinctive and enduring. Clinton collaborated with various artists, creating and working together in ways that advanced music. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and garnered various accolades, such as a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Despite his notoriety, Clinton's financial situation declined. As he created hit after hit, his record label was gaining the majority of the rewards. In the 1980s and 1990s, hip-hop and R&B artists extensively sampled Clinton's music, but he did not receive the royalties owed to him. Problems with his label and poor management choices resulted in him losing the rights to a significant portion of his music, preventing him from benefiting financially from the sampling of his creations. Over the years, Clinton initiated several lawsuits to reclaim control of his music and secure the royalties due to him, but these legal struggles depleted his finances. At one time, Clinton's financial issues were so serious that he allegedly had to sell his performance costumes just to cover expenses, at times for as low as $500 each. The colorful outfits that were once integral to his stage persona turned into a final fallback for earning money. His difficulties were a stark truth for an artist who had given so much to music. Guess which other star did not just lose it every she had, but also ended up in jail? Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill, an iconic figure in hip-hop, made an enduring impact on the music industry. Renowned for her emotive vocals, lyrical depth, and impactful themes, Hill gained widespread recognition with her first solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which transformed hip-hop and R&B. Yet, in spite of her first success and fortune, she encountered significant financial difficulties that almost jeopardized her career. Hill initially gained popularity as a member of the Fugees, a hip-hop collective that dominated the music landscape of the 1990s. The Fugees achieved enormous success with tracks such as Killing Me Softly and Ready or Not, showcasing Lauryn's remarkable voice and talent. In 1998, however, she chose to pursue a solo career, launching The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, an album that would transform her life and the music industry. This album fused hip-hop, soul, and reggae, providing an authentic and impactful perspective on love, fame, and societal concerns. The album achieved remarkable success, securing 5 Grammy Awards and exceeding 10 million copies sold globally. Lauryn Hill transformed into an icon. As her fame quickly ascended, Hill likewise accumulated great wealth. At the peak of her career, she ranked among the top-earning female artists globally, making millions through album sales, performances, and endorsements. Yet, just as swiftly as she ascended, her life changed direction. Following the triumph of the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Hill withdrew from the spotlight. Her moment in the limelight was short-lived, and soon personal and legal issues started to overshadow her musical successes. One of her first significant financial challenges arose from a legal case involving musicians Verda Noble, Rasheem Pugh, and Johari Newton. They alleged that Hill utilized their contributions in creating the miseducation of Lauryn Hill without appropriately crediting them. The legal battle concluded with Hill consenting to pay $5 million to resolve the case, a major setback for her finances. However, her financial issues did not stop at that point. In 2012, Hill garnered attention once more when she faced charges of tax fraud. In a period of 3 years, Hill neglected to pay taxes on over $1.8 million in income. When challenged, she claimed that she had withdrawn from society to safeguard herself and her family, although the law did not consider this a legitimate justification. Hill was convicted and received a sentence of 3 months in prison, along with additional months of house arrest. At this point, Hill's financial situation was challenging, as legal expenses, penalties, and overdue taxes accumulated. Her income from her peak period was largely exhausted, and her reputation suffered a setback. To bounce back, Hill began focusing on touring and live shows. In 2003, she launched a 25th anniversary tour for the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, aiming to revive her career and recover some of her diminished wealth. Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton, recognized for her heartfelt voice and touching ballads, rose to prominence as one of the leading R&B artists of the 1990s. Her music, brimming with emotion and sorrow, profoundly connected with listeners, leading to Grammy Awards and global recognition. Though her career flourished, her financial issues overshadowed her success, resulting in several bankruptcies that affected her life in unforeseen ways. Toni Michelle Braxton originated from Maryland and started her musical path alongside her sisters in the 1980s. United, they created a collective known as the Braxtons and secured their first record contract, launching several tracks that attracted some notice. Nevertheless, it was only after Toni chose to pursue a solo career that her success took off. In 1993, she launched her eponymous debut album, Toni Braxton, which turned into a huge success, selling 10 million copies globally. The album featured strong ballads, such as Another Sad Love Song and Breathe Again, which rapidly reached the top of the charts. Braxton's powerful, resonant voice and enchanting stage presence turned her into an immediate R&B star. The launch of her second album, Secrets, in 1996, established Toni Braxton's position in the music industry. The album included several of her most well-known tracks, such as Unbreak My Heart, which turned into one of the highest-selling singles ever. At this moment, Braxton had reached the peak of her career, boasting several Grammy Awards, countless fans, and a luxurious lifestyle. She relished in riches and renown, possessing opulent residences, fashionable clothing, and extravagant spending tendencies. Nonetheless, beneath the achievement, Braxton faced financial issues. Even with her fame, she was constrained by a contract that restricted her income. In 1998, she stunned the music industry by declaring bankruptcy, disclosing that her liabilities exceeded her assets. Fans were shocked. How could such a thriving artist end up bankrupt? It became apparent that her affection for opulence, such as Gucci silverware and high-end dresses, had played a role in her money troubles. Although she was well-known and appeared affluent, her income was unable to sustain her lavish way of living. Toni Braxton recovered from her first bankruptcy, but in 2010, she declared bankruptcy again because of unpaid taxes and medical expenses. Her lavish spending habits and health problems persisted in putting pressure on her finances. Thankfully, Braxton achieved stability, boasting a net worth of approximately $10 million through performances, music royalties, and reality television appearances. Her path from triumph to hardship and healing illustrates the intricacies of fame and affluence. But Braxton wasn't the only one who faced a downfall. Another star also lost it because she couldn't balance her income and expenses. Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim, frequently referred to as the Queen of Rap, was a pioneer for women in rap music. Prior to stars such as Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion, there was Lil' Kim, a legend who revolutionized the rap scene in the 1990s. Her intense style, daring lyrics, and unrepentant personality established her as one of hip-hop's most impactful figures. Nevertheless, her astonishing ascent to stardom was subsequently accompanied by a financial downfall that astonished her supporters and the music sector. Lil' Kim, whose real name is Kimberly Denise Jones, started her career in the mid-1990s after being discovered by the notorious B.I.G., a prominent figure in rap history. With his guidance, Kim joined the group Junior MAFIA, where she distinguished herself through her touching lyrics and bold demeanor. Her first solo album, Hardcore, which came out in 1996, captivated the world. The album achieved the highest debut for a female rap album in the US at that time and was praised for its gritty, bold content. Through Hardcore, Lil' Kim secured her spot in music history, establishing a benchmark for female rappers and becoming an icon. Throughout the years, Lil' Kim has sold millions of records globally, boasting over 15 million albums and 30 million singles to her credit. Her career included numerous hit songs, collaborations, and significant appearances that highlighted her abilities and established her it girl status in the music industry. Her fame and achievements brought great wealth, and at the peak of her career, Lil' Kim stood out as one of the most well-known and wealthiest female rappers globally. Nevertheless, beneath the glitz, Lil' Kim was encountering significant financial difficulties. In 2018, she declared bankruptcy, highlighting a shocking decline from her earlier fortune. She was in debt for millions of dollars to creditors, which included overdue taxes and mortgage payments on her $3 million home in New Jersey. Ultimately, the bank repossessed her house, taking away one of her most significant assets. The formerly luxurious way of living she had experienced had been costly. As per court records, Lil' Kim's financial habits were lavish and unmanageable. She is said to have allocated approximately $10,000 each month for travel, $6,600 for her mortgage, $2,200 for clothing, and $2,300 for her employees. Despite earning roughly $188,000 each month at one time, her expenses exceeded her income, putting her in a financial predicament. Even with her substantial income, Kim had difficulty handling her finances wisely, and her expenditures ultimately caught up to her. If you think that's all, think again. If the Queen of Rap could lose it like that, how do you explain a Grammy-nominated singer who ended up homeless? Shanice. Shanice, the Grammy-nominated vocalist with an angelic voice, won over audiences in the 1990s with her popular track I Love Your Smile. Recognized for her remarkable vocal abilities and radiant, contagious smile, Shanice appeared to possess everything: skill, stardom, and a thriving career. Her ascent to stardom was driven by her strong voice and vibrant personality, establishing her as one of the most adored icons in R&B and pop music. Nevertheless, in spite of her achievements and the wealth she accumulated, Shanice's narrative took a tough turn that ultimately resulted in her and her family confronting financial disaster. Shanice began singing when she was young, and her skill soon garnered attention. By the time she reached her teenage years, she had secured her first record contract, and in 1991, she launched her breakthrough album, Inner Child, featuring her popular single, I Love Your Smile. The tune quickly turned into a timeless classic, hitting the top of the charts and granting Shanice worldwide recognition. Her distinctive voice and style set her apart, earning her recognition as one of the most promising talents of her generation. As Shanice's career progressed, she relished the benefits of stardom, television appearances, tours, and a degree of financial success that felt surreal. In 2000, Shanice wed actor and comedian Flex Alexander, recognized for his part in the hit TV series One-on-One. As a couple, they were celebrities who seemed to possess everything: affection, a family, and flourishing careers. At their highest point, they were said to generate approximately $1.3 million annually, and their way of living demonstrated this. Having credit available, the couple indulged in extravagant shopping sprees, purchased new vehicles, and made significant investments in real estate. Nonetheless, neither Shanice nor Flex were equipped to handle such riches, and their expenditures rapidly got out of hand. As the years passed, they found it difficult to maintain their extravagant way of living. The property investments they undertook started to collapse, causing their debt to escalate to an unmanageable level. In 2010, it all fell apart. The family was forced out of their home, and the police participated in the heartbreaking procedure of taking Shanice, Flex, and their kids from their house. For a family that had previously enjoyed wealth, the prospect of homelessness became a devastating truth. The experience was profoundly hurtful. Shanice recounted numerous nights when she and Flex would weep together, helping one another through the heartbreak. Regardless of their situation, they always maintained hope. Flex frequently urged Shanice to believe that circumstances would eventually improve. Their trust in one another and in their capacity to restore provided them with the courage to progress, even in their most challenging times. Although Shanice and Flex haven't completely bounced back financially, they have gained important insights into money management and the significance of humility. They currently adhere to a fresh philosophy: expend as if it would not return, serving as a reminder to be prudent and wise with each dollar. The trek has been tough, yet they have successfully restored stability gradually. What do you think of the revelations about these R&B stars? Let us know in the comments. If you want more interesting revelations, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch the next video shown on your screen. See you there.